Hey, Deanna. Sort of natural progression of you guys as a squad. Where do you think you guys finish this year? How disappointed are you guys by sort of the ending? And how do you guys move forward, sort of into this offseason?
I mean, I think obviously it's a disappointing ending. I mean, you want to continue to play for more. I mean, I don't think we were bad this year, but obviously the West got tougher, and I don't think we stepped up to that plate. Obviously, we can look at countless games of we had the lead or games we should have won, and you look back at that, and it definitely bit us in the back. Coming towards the end of the season.
Darren, for you, how much is like just your confidence in the direction and kind of the construction of this group shaken by having a step back this year?
I mean, I think we put ourselves. We were in positions to have a better record. 46 wins is not bad, but at the end of the day, we see where this conference is going. You look back at games that we should have won, and you're looking like, oh, we could have had 51 wins or 52 wins. You're sitting in a different spot, but at the end of the day, we didn't. We know that we could have been a better team this year, and we let some games slip away. But we're looking at 46 wins, and you're like, oh, it's a bad season. If we do consider that a bad season, then we know that we have to be much better. But as a team, we know that we have to be better. We have to build differently, and I mean that's not for me to do. That's for the front office. But for me, I come in. You put in the work, and you go out there with the guys that you have. You go out and you battle. And I'm glad that we were able to do it with this group. I mean, 2 wins from last year put you from the 3rd seed to the 9th seed. So this conference isn't getting any easier. We have to continue to build toward the future. And I don't think I don't think as a team that we were a bad team. I think that we had chances and we just didn't seize those chances.
Hey Fox, you led the league in steals this year, also high volume three-point shooting with consistency. Those were probably the 2 biggest areas of growth throughout your career. So what's the next step, you think, in your evolution into that star potential that so many people talk about?
I mean, I think just continue to be more efficient on the court. Just from all aspects, continue to be a better defender, continue to get stronger, more athletic. I mean, you look at every aspect of the game, and I feel like I can continue to get better as a player. Continue to do whatever my team asks me to win games. I think I wasn't as good late in games this year as I was last year, but like I said, I think we took a step backwards a little bit as a team, and we still have things that we can continue to get better at as a group.
During Coach Brown often talks about how much adversity can help a group like this kind of grow going forward. How much do you feel like the adversity and the ups and downs of the season has kind of helped elevate you guys, and what kind of things do you think you're going to build off of it going forward?
I mean, I think that always comes with consistency. I think that's always the word that that gets used. How can you become consistent? Defensively is usually where it is because it's basketball. There are going to be games where you don't make shots. There are going to be games where other team makes shots. So for us, continuing to try to grow as a defensive team usually gives you the best shot to win games. You can be the best offense, but if shots just aren't going in that day, then what can you lean back on? So for us, it has to be continuing to grow as a defensive team. Then make free throws are one thing you can also control. And we know that we have to be a better free throw shooting team because there are games that we lost this year that if you don't shoot 65% from the free throw line, you probably win that game. So,
Darren, I'd like to ask you a question about a member of the coaching staff, Jordy Fernandez. And I'm not talking about the situation, prospect, future, or anything like that, but him working with this organization, him being part of the coaching staff, him, I believe, who was leading the defense. Can you talk a little bit about working with him these past couple seasons?
yeah, I mean, I think Jordy was great. It's funny that you said that because Mikael actually hit me this morning asking me about him. But man, Jordy was great. I think everybody who's worked with him knew at some point, he'd be a head coach in this league. But he was fantastic for us. I think my first interaction with Jordy, we were in San Diego. I was working out with Luke, and he just sat in the workout, and he was like, and this was before last year. He was like, I don't think you're working hard enough. He's like, I don't think you understand. Like, I've coached against you. I don't think you understand how good you can be. But I don't think that. And this is like me and Luke have probably been working together for like two weeks or so. He's like, I don't think you're working hard enough. I don't think you're doing what you should be doing to become the player that you want to be. And he kind of stood with me because I'm like, I felt like I'm going hard, like, but that's one thing that definitely stood out to me just from our first interaction. And Jordy's been great for us, man. Just the attention to detail that he pays, not only during like the playoff series last year or like the 2 playing games that we had because they're 1-game series, but day in and day out. You know, just the attention to detail from offense to defense, to how we're getting back, to, you know, some box outs, just everything that he does. I think everybody knew that at some point he's going to be able to lead a group. And obviously you look at it like it's a sad day, of course, you know, losing someone who did so much for y'all, but I mean, that's the nature of this business. You know, every coach wants to be a head coach at some point, and I mean, I think he's gonna be great for Brooklyn for the next group of guys that he leads. But I think everybody loved Jordy. You know, being able to be around him every day and just enjoy to be coached by him. But I think he's gonna be a hell of a head coach for sure.
De'Aaron, you saw Keegan take a big step this season, especially working out with you this offseason. Do you expect that type of step again from him? And how does he work on maybe being a little bit more aggressive in terms of attacking the basket? I know with different shots working on and stuff like that this offseason, but how does he go forward with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot different whenever kind of teams are keying in on you a little more, and I think that happened this year. But I feel like he let, you know, shots, him making or missing shots, kind of dictate the way that he played a little bit. And I think going forward, like I say all the time, man, it's basketball. There are going to be times where you don't make shots, but you can't allow that to affect the way that you play. And I think for him going forward, you know, that's going to be one thing that, you know, he tries to key in on. And I told him, like, regardless if you're making or missing shots, we need you to be aggressive. But that just comes with, I think that comes with time being on the court. Obviously, there are some guys in this league that don't give a damn if they make or miss shots. Like, you're going to go into some games knowing that this guy is going to shoot 20 times. He does not care if he makes or misses shots. He's going to shoot the ball 20 times. And we need him to have that type of mentality because regardless of, I mean, at times when you're playing against some people, if they miss their first two or three threes, you're like, oh, we got him. Like, he's not going to shoot the ball. He doesn't even want the ball anymore. And you can't be that type of player because that does nothing but hurt your team. But, you know, obviously you don't want to be the guy that can go 0 for 20 because that could also hurt your team. But Keegan's confidence just continued to grow. Obviously he became more comfortable putting the ball on the floor, but we need him to be even more comfortable putting the ball on the floor. We can't have you out there, you know, dribbling the ball and looking like you don't want to dribble the ball. But I mean, he's growing as a player. I mean, he didn't handle the ball a lot in college. He was in the post a lot in college, and then his first year in the league, he just spotted up a lot, or he was coming off of pin downs. And obviously, those things are hard to do. Like we can talk about last game, like he's wrestling with Niji Marshall the whole time. Like now you get the ball, and now you're a bit tired. So we need him to be a lot more comfortable being able to play out of the pick and roll or be able to bring the ball up, because being in a wrestling match all game and then you finally get the ball, it's like, I have no legs after doing that. So just being able to be a lot more dynamic. Obviously, we know that he can come off of pin downs. We know that he can spot up. What else can you add to your game? And we definitely need that out of him.
De'Aaron, obviously you took your game to new heights defensively this season, and you talked a little bit already about an all defensive team. Is that something that's kind of on your radar moving forward in your career?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, a lot of that comes with team defense as well. And it's, like I said, just continue to build as a defensive team, I think helps all individuals in that aspect. And, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But for us, I want to be on a team that's solid defensively, night in, night out. You know that you're going to, go through hell playing against a team. So we want to continue to be built defensively. And obviously, we talked about after the last game, there doesn't have to be give and take. You look at OKC, you look at Boston, I think Denver, like all those teams are in the top 10 defensively. We're talking about those teams winning championships, and that's where we want to have to get to. We don't want to have to sit here like, oh, defensively we're this, but offensively we're not that. And you're not going to win. Things like Detroit in like 04 was like the only team that wasn't top 10 in offense that won a championship in the last whatever many years. But then you look at all the teams that won championships, they're top 10 in offense, and near the top half of the league in defense, and I think the only team that wasn't was like one of those three-peat Lakers, but then they turned it up defensively in the playoffs because the year before that, I think they were like number 1 or 2 in defense, so you knew that they could do it. So we have to be able to be great on both ends of the court if we want to be a championship contending team.
It seems like a lot of times you're talked about as if you kind of just are what you are, but how much do you feel like you have another level that you can reach?
I definitely feel like, 26, been in the league for 7 years. I feel like I've gotten better every year. So why do I think that my growth just stunts now? I still have things that I can work towards. I've had stretches where I looked really good. I've had stretches where I wasn't good. So you want to obviously have those stretches be longer for a period of time, but obviously knowing that you're going to have a slump here and there. I work at my game. I work at my game every day. Regardless if we just come in here and get shots, regardless if we come in here and go live, I work. So I don't feel like I'm done growing as a player.
De'Aaron, obviously you've been here a while now, there's been a lot of turnover in your tenure here, but now the last couple of years, getting a little consistency from the coaching staff, obviously, and an opportunity to kind of build on things rather than every year tear it down, rebuild it. What does that mean to you personally, and what are you looking forward to, like, in this offseason? Obviously, there's some question marks, but just generally being able to build something for the future.
Yeah, obviously I don't know what happens this summer, but just having that consistency of some guys that you know are going to be here, coaches that you know are going to be here, it gives you that confidence knowing that you're going to take that next step forward and not have to wonder what the foundation is going to look like. And I feel like you can look at Dallas, like last year they didn't, obviously the year before they made the playoffs. Last year they didn't make the playoffs. This year, they make a trade at the deadline, and they look like honestly the best team in the league for after the All-Star break. So those are just like little things that you look forward to, and having that consistency as an organization, and it's fun. Obviously, and like we said, this conference isn't going to get any harder, but you don't want it to. It isn't going to get any easier. You don't want it to. You want to be able to be atop of the conference like the Western Conference this year, and that gives you confidence going into the playoffs that you have a chance to win a championship. So if we are able to get better, if we're able to fight out and get a spot in this Western Conference, if we're able to get 50 wins like that gives you confidence. Like I said, 46 wins we look at because we didn't make the playoffs. That's not good. We're a couple blemishes away from having a 50-win season, so I don't think we're very far off.
Kind of along those lines of just, you have the expectations that you get coming into the season, and then you kind of almost duplicate the record that you had last year. And kind of along those lines, you learn something about maybe your team. What's maybe the 1 or 2 things that might be on your mind most this summer when you think about where your team is at and what could lie ahead for you guys?
I think one is like how much better can we get as players who are here? What could happen as far as trades or draft or what may happen. I look at what we have, and I think what could have been, what could we have done better throughout this season. And obviously there are things, if we make our free throws, we probably have 51 wins. Like it's small things that start to add up and start to snowball effect into a season. And now we're looking at it like, damn, we didn't make the playoffs. We weren't that good of a team, which could be true, which could not be true. But what can we do next year to put us in a better spot? And those are obviously we have to look ourselves in the mirror as players. What could we have done better? And then obviously the front office. What did we bring in to be a better team to compete in this hard conference? And that's pretty much it.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Dan.
All right.
Thank you.